into what's going on with these kids and these youth in the first place. I can talk about gun violence because of the murder of my son. I can talk about sex trafficking because I was sex trafficked at 12 years old myself. I can talk about dropping out of school because I done that. I can talk about teen pregnancy because I was a teen pregnancy. I could talk about disobedient to my parents because I was that. So when I tell people all the time, every time you look around, they go, Miss Clement. Well, Miss Clement is all those places. And if I made it to all those places, then where was my community? Where was my help? Where was my home training? And where was the system at for me? And this is what we're going through now.
Very good, and it's a very, very difficult problem in Nashville itself. It's greater among African Americans. I think you mentioned earlier when you talked about numbers that there were 13 unknowingly sex trafficking children that have gone missing within the African American community, and nobody seems to know that much about it.
So what I'm doing is just giving you an example of the 14 girls that came up missing in 7 days back in maybe August or September. You can pull it up, it'll pop up, but it's a way amount of number bigger than that. I'm just keep on using that because I wonder like why my phone didn't go off, why I don't see this all over the news, why people still ain't talking about it. You talked about it for a minute, then you went back to the weather or you went back to the soap opera. And that's a concern of mine. And because I got 3 nieces that I've been protecting dear life with, and I got a group that I deal with 10 girls, 12 to 16, that I constantly tell them to watch their surroundings and stuff like that. And so for you to have these girls missing in less than 24 hours and in 7 days and nobody's still talking about it, then what's going on? And then you call and tell me that it was 300 girls missing in Washington, D.C. You know, how can you have 300 black girls missing in Washington, D.C.? So I want to bring to awareness that we're talking about sex trafficking true enough with the money making, but we're also talking about something deeper, and I'll be talking about that.
Well, I'll tell you what, we've got about a minute in this segment before we end this first segment and get into this second segment. When we come back with this second segment, which will be an 8-minute segment, I want you to give us as much information as you possibly can dealing with these young women. You see, because certainly it's of concern, any race, no matter what race they might be. But when you talk about the African American female, young females, that's disproportionate in any situation. And so there has to be something that is different in Nashville that, as a matter of fact, I would imagine the ratio, if you talk about the ratio, wouldn't be that much different if you compare Chicago or LA to something. It's just so happened to be in the country here in Nashville, Tennessee. And so you are our voice in reference to how this is coming about and what happened in a real sense to these young women. And so what we'll do, we'll take our first commercial break and then we'll come back and we'll have 8 minutes and then 10 minutes to allow you full space to give us as much information as we can possibly have. We'll be back with our audience following this short break. Minutes, Ms. Greenlee.
It kept saying trying to go live, so.
Keep your video in your wait a minute. And see, I'm gonna touch base on how I just got here on our way and had to drop a girl off because, you know, we just got a call that we might be able to save one of them. So I'm trying to see. Am I live? I need somebody to let me know if I'm live.
It's trying to.
Oh, it's my connection.
Yeah.
Oh, wow. Okay, that's what it is. And so I don't have no good connection on my phone, no way. That's when I was hoping. Yeah, low network connection. That's okay. Because I pop it up when it pop on your website and all that. I'll take it off and shoot it out like I always do. Because, you know, half of your stuff is on my YouTube page, too. Yeah, we do it like that. So I put that over there. I don't want to hold it in my hand.
And so now this is a second segment, right? Okay, you've got 8 minutes and you got 10 minutes, Ms. Greenlee, to talk about it from any perspective, however you want to talk about it, because I know the information that you give is valid information. I know
Yeah. And what you just showed, you just seen, I just showed y'all 2 or 3 things
on the
on
things,
my
yeah, it's
Facebook
almost
page already.
impossible, eh?
Georgia and
Yeah.
Atlanta and Memphis
And people don't even recognize
right, and
that.
they don't like not even talking about it up there. I ain't never seen a news thing showing them.
Uh-huh. Thank you and welcome back to the second segment of the show for today. We're talking to Ms. Greenlee in reference to sex trafficking in the African American community in Nashville, Tennessee specifically. Now let's pick up, Ms. Greenlee, where you left off during that first segment, and you gave us some excellent information, and the only thing we can anticipate is that during the second and the third segment, we'll get the same kind of information. And if we can walk away with a video dealing with the things that you've talked about during that first segment and have that compounded with the second segment and the third segment, we will have a very, very powerful video dealing with sex trafficking. Let's do it from that perspective.
So, I want everybody to just be aware. Number one, I am a sex trafficking victim and survivor myself in the early 70s and 80s. So if I'm talking about that with my story, and now we back here in 2019 talking about it, that's really scary for me. I tell everybody that they can Google my name and go on my page and see how I went to New Orleans and changed the sex trafficking laws down there with the governor, Bobby Jindal. And so if a governor caught my story and wanted me to come down there and talk and change their community, then I need to be able to come and do it here. I'm not down in no organizations that doing anything with sex trafficking. I just don't feel like they're doing it grassroots enough with me. And the reason I wanted to talk about the black community sex trafficking is because we are being overlooked. And like I said early on in the first segment, we got 14 girls missing in 7 days. My phone didn't go off. No alert, no nothing on TV, no sirens, no outcry. So it's time for somebody to come out and stick and talk about it, and that's me. When you called me on your show, I was on the way here with a friend whose niece had just got abducted last Saturday. So we found her, and we went and talked with my fact. I just took her yesterday to Matthew Walker to get checked out, cleaned up, and stuff like that. But they have got her again, and we was out looking for her as we was trying to get to your show this morning. And then soon as we was heading almost here, the phone rang because somebody found her phone and said she was on some hotel on Lombard Avenue in Loganville Road.
You caught her and rescued her, and then she's back in the same kind of situation. How in the world did
So what happened is we didn't take her phone. And we should have took her phone, and all the time he's texting and he's threatening, because like they did me, and when she kept saying that they are going to kill her grandmother, they're going to do something to your sister, your mother. You are paranoid and you're scared now because you done already developed something with them that they got on you. Like I done stole from you and I done got caught. So you got something on me now, and I don't want my mom and them to know. I done went slept with all these men you done made me sleep with. I don't want my family to know. So whatever he said to her at 1 in the morning to make her go back out that door while everybody was asleep, it costed us. When we should have just let her sleep with us, or we should have stayed around the clock. And it ain't that easy to hold them once you get them when you don't have nowhere to take them. And that's my other point. So just to cap that off, when we were getting ready to pull in, get off the exit, the phone rung and they said she was at this hotel. So I took the young lady who's supposed to be on the show with me back to her car. You go get her, and I'm gonna come to Dr. Haney because I can still get this message out. So I'm waiting and praying for my phone to go off to say she got her. I'm hoping they step through that door before the show is over with. But this is what we have to realize. No one is paying attention to our black girls. I'm not prejudiced. I came out of the Magdalene program, Thistle Farm. So that was a sex trafficking, prostitution, drug organization that helped women, getting off the street. But now that we have so many black teenage girls get snatched from the street, from the cars, from the stores, nobody is talking about it like I think they should talk about it. And I always say that it's not none of Becky kids or Sarah kids. It's not important, and people can take that any way they want to take it. I don't really care when I wake up every morning and see the sex trafficking that took a triple level. Sitting here in less than 10 seconds, I showed you and the cameraman 2-3 pages on my Facebook page where all these missing black women from Georgia, another part of Atlanta, Mississippi, Michigan, Michigan, and no one is doing an outcry with this. And this is where I come in at, because I can't afford to sit back. I was not trying to get in this. You know, I do my gun violence and my gangs. Even though that is my story, I was not trying to do this.
And so in a real sense, this is happening in Nashville.
It's happening right now as
right
me
now,
and you
as
talking.
we speak.
Oh.
And it's happening, and it's in the numbers. You're talking about 14 young African-American females missing.
In 7 days.
In 7 days, and nobody's doing anything about it. And where do you start in terms of dealing with this, Ms. Greenlee?
So where you started is the education. You got to let people like us come in and start talking about it. People who really got the story, not the people who got the accolades behind their names and they partnership with Vanderbilt, the Mental Co-op, and all that old stuff. That's fine, because y'all doing it for money. So y'all always say y'all gaining off my pain, and I don't like that. So you won't bring in the real people with the real stories that can go out there and really get these people. You bring in people who you done trained. You can't train nobody if you had never experienced it yourself. And the second thing is you got to open up these churches and these colleges. On a Sunday, you got to quit talking about Job and Matthew. You got to talk about some real issues here. You got the audience captivated in your presence right here. So that's, you take that
And
mic.
it is a religious issue.
Yes.
It really is, right.
Yeah. So you got us captivated in it. I don't care how big your church is, how small it is. You got us captivated at least for an hour or two, maybe 3. So why not talk about that subject just for that sermon? You ain't gonna miss nothing. And then we got to go back in these high schools. We got to go back in these high schools and let us come in there and talk, not to no classroom. You need to bring them in the auditorium or bring them in the cafeteria so we can talk to all of them. Well, our policies say, okay, well, I'm heading to the legislation in 2020, and it's going to be a lot of bills that I'm finna put on there for to change these laws. Children missing like this here is not fair. They didn't ask to be drugged up. They didn't ask to be sold. And just because it's $1 billion industry right now, that makes everybody getting in it. We just saw some doctors getting busted and raided for sex trafficking like 2 weeks ago, some prominent doctors in Brentwood. We just had some Green Hills had 4 salon nail shops raided for sex trafficking. They had folks under their basement slave sex in them. So people who we not looking at are the people who really doing it. And I tell them all the time, pimping is no more with an afro, a Cadillac, and a black man. It's a business suit and a briefcase now, and it's madams. Y'all look at these women. These women are luring your daughters in, your nieces and grandsons, grandsons too. You got to look at everybody, Dr. Haney. This is a serious thing. To make me come back out with sex trafficking, it's serious, and it's hurting my heart that nobody's really out doing an outcry on it.
Okay, what we'll do, we're going to take this final commercial break, and then we'll come back and we'll have 10 minutes. And we'll use that last 10 minutes to really get information out, and you've already given information. And we'll be back with our audience following this very, very short commercial break.
For sex trafficking, 2 doctors. So I'm gonna give out my address, you know, I mean my cell number, and tell them to y'all keep in prayer that we find this young lady that we're searching for right now, but then hope that that one lady lead us to all the rest of them.
And we've got 14 or 15 young black
that's
female
out there now begging for somebody to find him. Yeah. And so y'all get out here, quit praying, quit talking about turn it over to God. We done turned it over to God.
Are we ready? Yes. Okay, this is the final segment. And thank you, and welcome back to the final segment of the show for today. We're talking to Ms. Greenlee, and the topic is sex trafficking among African Americans in Nashville, Tennessee. And let's do it again, Ms. Greenlee.
Yes, I really want to throw out my name, Clemmy Greenlee. I want to throw out my phone number, 615-589-8984. I want people to look and pray for these 14 girls that's come up missing along with the other ones that I don't know about yet. I want people to open up their eyes and their ears and get involved. I'm asking everybody, quit talking about praying, turn it over to God. Come on with some action now. We've been praying, God waiting on us to move. And I just want everybody to pray for this young lady that I get a phone call and her auntie say that she has her in the car, even though she didn't get to make it here. But this sex trafficking is real. It ain't hit your house yet. Why would you wait for it to hit your house when you can get busy now and help this organization here that I'm finna
It's
start?
a real, it's a silent problem in Nashville in a real sense, dealing with African Americans. And every now and then we'll see a special on television where a young lady went missing and might be found in dire circumstances. And it's terrible, but to compare that one person to 15 persons that are not mentioned and nobody knows about, that means that we've got a real problem in Nashville. It's a black problem as well as a white problem. It's a problem. That's right.
But I'm just focusing on mine because nobody is out crying over my black girls. I mean, the white girls, the Latinos, all that's missing. Everybody that's in that race should be looking for them. So I'm specifically letting them know I'm coming after my black girls.
And I think that you're doing a great job, Ms. Greenlee, in terms of, because we've been talking about this for many, many years, but
and we still here talking about it's going to be 2020.
That's right.
That's scary.
It is, and it seems
so I'm
that
calling on the system, the legislation. I'm calling on the governor, mayor, and everybody to get involved with this one.
You know, is the state legislature just immune to anything like this? I mean, they don't do anything about gun violence. They don't do anything about sex trafficking. They don't do anything about anything. I mean, and I don't mean to criticize, but God,
you don't have to criticize, and I do that for you. But I promise you, they're gonna change coming in 2020. So the suit and tie is gonna change into some Shanae and Pookie Bear sitting up in that office now in them chairs, because that's all y'all doing is sitting up there collecting salary, looking pretty, and passing on what comes across your desk. And look at the world out here. Just your state. They say we the highest rate, number 8 in murder and number 5 in black incarceration. That is embarrassing living in Nashville when you got all these crimes coming up. It's really embarrassing. And I'm here to expose you.
That's right, and expose it need to be. Yes, ma'am. I think that's an excellent way to look at it, and to know that there's so much work that has to be done. I mean, when you talk about 12 or 13 young women that are missing now, and nobody knows, and that's today.
That's today.
And that's not talking about the weekend and et cetera, and evidently it goes up, the numbers go up.
And you got an active case, as you sitting here talking to me now, waiting on my phone to say we found her or whatever. And this girl came up missing Saturday. You ain't heard nothing.
So many ways that they can be drawn in. Us as an it city, it means the bars, the hotels, and all of those places are made available for that kind of.
So the new kids that's catching the high school, going to high school now, they got to catch the metro buses. And you know, they not used to catching the buses. No, that taught me a lesson. Start teaching my nieces and nephews how to catch that bus first. So now they're waiting on them at the bus stop, because they can tell who lost, who don't know where they're going, because it's their first time catching a bus to school. So be aware of that, parents. Y'all be aware that they're searching around the school buses downtown, any school metro bus stop
that stops in at one of the schools, and et cetera, that there's a possibility that there might be people lurking around in anticipation of catching unchaperoned, frightened young women.
And watch for this white van. This white van that don't have any windows on the side is pulling up next to your car in all kind of shopping, Walmart, Walgreens, Target. And as soon as you get out your car, they pull you in that side door and put that stuff over your nose. So watch out for a white van. It don't have no writing on it. Just be aware of all the white vans that don't have no windows, especially if it pull up beside your car in a parking lot.
That's kidnapping.
Yeah, that's what
Ms.
it
Greenlee.
is. That's what it is. It's kidnapping.
You
They
mean
taking them
that
against their
actually
will.
goes on?
Yes, it's all. That is all over Facebook, letting you know. This girl is 2 girls who just talked about it. One girl called a Lyft right quick, and she called a Lyft, and the Lyft wasn't taking her where she worked at, and the Lyft drove straight into a tractor trailer. The Lyft is being paid now. They drove into a tractor trailer. She just hit the man in his groin, and that's how she was able to get away. And she came on Facebook Live and told us about it. It was in Atlanta, but still.
It's happening. That's the thing about
This
it.
is
And
how
of course,
rapid
Atlanta's
this
not that
is.
far from Nashville.
Yes.
And if it's happening in Atlanta and Nashville, it's probably happening in Smyrna.
Yes. And half the guys are from Memphis, Atlanta, and Michigan that's here, that's taking the girls. And people, I just want them to be aware. Call me, 615-589-8984. Claim me Greenlee and join hands with me and let us come back out here to the streets.
Well, Ms. Greenlee, you're not the public. What are the public authorities doing in reference? What about the police and the...
We had the police over to the house today. They told us, well, we'll see what we can do. It's not too much we can do because she's 19, and we'll just, we'll put it with the other thousands that we had. So I looked at the mother and told the mother, just cut it, just cut it. We'll take care of this ourselves. We went out there and hunt that address down, and we had just pulled off heading to you and got that phone call. But if we had never went out there and showed them pictures and knocked on all them doors, we wouldn't have got this phone call.
And
so damn the police.
And so the official government is not doing that much in terms of...
it wouldn't be this high of a rate of abduction if they were. Just be honest.
You're right.
It
That's
wouldn't
right.
be this high a rate.
That's right.
Whether it's black, white, or Latino, they shouldn't be getting abducted like this in Nashville.
In Nashville, in any place, but
Yes.
my God,
Yes.
it's much worse.
It is.
It appears.
If I was talking about it in '74 because of me, and I'm sitting here talking about it now, it's triple worse.
Yeah. Well, it was bad when we first started talking to you about something like this, and now you're telling us it's not only double, it's probably triple,
Yes.
and it was a bad scene when I first heard of it. And we first started dealing with it. That was 5 or 6 years ago, but then
and now I'm back.
Back again.
With proof and showed you the pictures and everything.
And talking about 3 or 4 times as many, and young ladies that are missing, and nobody seems to know their name. Nobody making any kind of announcements, and nobody's looking for them or whatever. That's a bad situation.
Every now and then you'll get somebody on there saying, have you seen my niece? Have you seen my daughter? Have you seen my granddaughter? And it just breaks my heart. Just breaks my heart.
Well, this is really a terrible situation. Ms. Greenlee, I'm just delighted. We've got about two more minutes.
Okay, they got the right one now that done stepped out. I'm not claiming to take over nobody's organization. I don't want to join nobody's organization. I'm coming to build my own organization that God told me to come and do because it kept coming to me. So I was trying my best to stay out of this. But once this mother called me and said, Clemmy, the mother in your Mothers Over Murder program is her granddaughter. That's why she's not functioning. Also, that put me in it right there.
That's
Because
right.
I'm trying to help her get, deal with her murder of her son, and now you done snatched her granddaughter, so she's finna go lose it. So I got to go grab her love on her and try to help her through this, and this is what brought me back in it. And then when I got in and really found out all these numbers, it just blew my mind, and I'm like, oh no, hell no.
No, well, it's something that nobody appears to know anything. The media, newspapers don't seem to be talking about anything, and you see some kind of specials, broken, whatever, and et cetera. And
that's broken justice stuff they talking about.
They might touch it here or there, but they're not really meeting the whole issue. And not to criticize them, because at least they're doing something.
I'm going to talk to them on that anyway, because they blaming the community, and I'm blaming everybody. So I'm going to be talking to them about that, too. I'm letting them know I'm coming at them for that.
Well, that's good.
But this right here, they not talking about it at all on this. Like I said, your phone don't even go off on alert. But it goes off on alert for the other color, and it's not fair. That's all I'm saying. They call it racist. They can call it what they want to call it. I just think it should go off with everybody come up.
When a young lady is missing, black, white, or Hispanic, or whatever,
we made a report with this young lady we waiting on, and ain't no phone call, ain't no news, nothing. And that was Saturday.
And she's just out there, and they're out there drugged up and
gagged up and beat up, and they just handcuffed to a bed, just letting men do whatever they do.
Miss Greenlee, we've got 10 seconds, and let me tell you how much we
Please bring me back for
enjoyed.
part 2.
Yeah, I will. I'll do that. And of course, we'll be back with our audience next week for another informative edition of Comments. Thank you and good morning.